Politics over the issue of hanging of a terrorist Yakub Memon is our top focus story. A host of eminent personalities, including Bharatiya Janata Party MP Shatrughan Sinha, former judges, left leaders, have written a letter to President Pranab Mukherjee requesting him to grant presidential pardon to Yakub Memon. This after President Pranab Mukherjee in April had already rejected Yakub Memon's mercy petition. This new petition that has been filed by 40 eminent personalities cites several reasons, including a long trial, incarceration, a death warrant being fixed even before the hearing in Supreme Court as some of the aspects that should be used as mitigating factors. Those who've written the letter include former judges like Justice Panachand Jain, Justice H.S. Bedi and Justice P.B. Sawant. In the political leadership, we had Congress parties Manishankar Iyer, Ram Jethmalani, NCP's Majid Memon, CPM's Sitaram Yechuri, CPI's D. Raja and BJP's Shatrughan Sinha who've signed this petition.
He has also helped us, helped the Indian nation in being able to nail the lies of Pakistan. And that should be taken into account for granting mercy. Well, our request to the President is that his case may be considered for commuting the death sentence into life.
We are opposed to capital punishment. This particular concrete issue is concerned. Already the death sentence has been pronounced. It should be revised. It should be commuted.
A death sentence that should be commuted to life in prison, say left leaders, Congress leaders and BJP's Shatrughan Sinha. My colleague Anandya now joins me with the latest. Also with me is BJP's Shaina NC and Shyam Keswani, Yakub Memon's first lawyer. Anandya, you spoke to a number of these people who've written this petition to the President. What are the mitigating factors in their opinion that he should not be given death penalty, Yakub Memon?
Gaurav, let me tell you the very outset that the number of people we have spoken to, a wide range of people cutting across party lines, and they all have, whenever we ask them, the first and foremost, they have the argument is that based on one article written by Mr. Raman in 2007. So beyond that, they don't have any argument. Beyond that, they just only quote humanity. And when you ask very simple, direct questions, I asked, for example, CPI's D. Raja, also other few members of the other political parties, that why when Justice Kode went into this issue from 2007, he has gone into great detail, including the matter that has been raised by Mr. Raman. Why need to go now? And two, why, whether he does, by writing this letter, does he show as a political leader, senior political leader, not any kind of...
this milk of human kindness that's flowing for a terrorist who's been convicted by the Supreme Court. Why is that milk of human kindness not flowing for the victims of Yakub Memon's actions? 257 people were killed. And I want to put that question to Shyam Keswani, Yakub Memon's first lawyer in this case. Shyam Keswani, you've read the Supreme Court verdict, and I want to quote that verdict, which says Yakub Memon was a driving spirit behind the blast. That's point one. Point two, Memon was in commanding position and crime of utmost gravity warranted capital punishment. Are these letters and petitions now making a mockery of our system, sir?
There is no question of making a mockery of our system. आप देखिए कि दुनिया की काफी तरक्की पसंद मुल्कों ने अपने कानून की किताबों से डेथ पेनल्टी का प्रोविजन निकाल दिया है।
नहीं, आप दुनिया के उन देशों के बारे में भूल जाइए श्याम केसवानी जी। भारत के कानून में डेथ पेनल्टी है। भारत के कानून में आज की तिथि में डेथ पेनल्टी है।
या आप देखिए, या तो आपको सुनना है या बोलिए कि आप निकल के उठ के चले जाइए। आप जरूर मुझे ये बताइए, शैल आई कंटिन्यू?
आप मुझे कानूनन बताइए, जो अभी का देश का कानून है।
कानूनन बता रहा हूं, कानूनन ही बता रहा हूं।
बताइए फिर
कि एक आदमी 22 साल जो काट चुका है, तो उसके वो 22 साल कौन देगा? फांसी पे जब चढ़ा रहे हो तो आप क्या उनकी बीवी को कुछ मुआवजा देने वाले हो कि 22 साल हमने उसको अंदर क्यों रखा? ये भी तो सोचिए ना कि 22 साल अंदर रहा है, अगर लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट मिलती है तो वो भी उस हिसाब से 15-16 साल में खत्म हो जाती है.
Let me correct you once again, Mr. Shyam Keshwani. The Supreme Court has very clearly said life imprisonment means life in jail as long as that person lives. That 14 years is old law that's been clarified by the Supreme Court. But Shaina NC, is there merit in what Shyam Keshwani says? That man has already spent 22 years in jail. This is double jeopardy. He's got a life sentence and now you will hang him.
Not, it almost implies that we are questioning what the Honorable Supreme Court has said. The fact that this case has lasted 22 years and gone all the way from the bottom, from the Tata Court to the High Court to the Supreme Court, where they've had an opportunity to go into appeal, and despite that there has been a clear-cut verdict that he must be hung to death, with ample evidence to produce in the judgment which says that yes, this man has been a conspirator, he has spent all this kind of money and he has orchestrated this crime. Now I want to ask you, Gaurav, is there a difference between a conspirator and a mastermind? Clearly there is, but it doesn't suggest for 1 minute that the government is not going to get after the masterminds. But does that mean that the 1993 blast victims and their families who have been waiting for justice for 22 long years is not given despite a Supreme Court judgment? And these people who have gone into petition, I also want to question them.
Yes.
What type of message are they giving to international terrorists? Does it suggest that you can come to India, kill 300 people, and then there will be a mercy petition where people go and say that no, this person should not be hung to death because he is only a conspirator?
Let me put that question to Ujjwal Nikam. Ujjwal Nikam is senior public prosecutor. He joins me on the broadcast. Ujjwal Nikam, 40 people, including BJP's Shatrughan Sinha, Congress's Manishankar Iyer, CPM's Sitaram Yechuri, CPI's D. Raja, they've written to the president, say, don't hang Yakub Memon. Is this making a mockery of a judicial system? What message does this send?
Let me tell you very frankly that every Indian citizen has every right to express their views. There is no doubt about it. But the question only arises because now when the Supreme Court has finally confirmed that the death penalty mercy petition has been rejected, even then some section of the people, if they are meeting the president and if they are making the prayer, I have no comment upon their prayer. I have no comment upon their representation. But the moot question arises, when Yakub has already been declared held guilty for committing very serious acts, that is for the life, for the murders of 257 persons, are we to say that he should be scot-free? Means leniency should be shown to him by giving him life imprisonment?
Respond to that, Mr. Keshwani. Ujjwal Nikam says, why this milk of human kindness for a terrorist and his family and not for the victims and their families?
Regard and respect for Ujjwal ji. All that I am saying is, I don't say set him free. Give him the imprisonment for life. I don't say set him free. I don't say that you throw a big party for him outside. Point is, he has served for 22 years for whatever reason. 22 साल तक जो जेल में रहा है, उसको आज कहना अभी तू फांसी पे चढ़ जा, आप कन्वर्ट कीजिए इनटू लाइफ सेंटेंस, बात खत्म हो गई.
बात खत्म नहीं हो गई. Don't you fear, Mr. Keshwani? Don't you fear there could be another IC-814? There could be a plane hijacked to release him.
जो मर गए बॉम्बे बम ब्लास्ट में, उनके जो वो मरे हुए उठ के वापस आ जाएंगे जब इनको फांसी लगेगी.
Can I say something, Gaurav?
ये कहना
Go on, Shaina NC.
Please say something.
Can I say, Gaurav?
Yes. Respond to what Shyam Keshwani is saying.
This is ridiculous logic. Mr. Keshwani is a lawyer and he knows that there is ample evidence to prove the role of Yakub Memon, whether it is the actual funding of the 1993 co-conspirators, whether it was finding all this kind of explosive material, the tickets which were booked. There's so much evidence in this judgment that has come by the Supreme Court, and we here are going to sit and debate and disrespect our judiciary. If you belong to the legal fraternity, at at least know that if the honorable courts have pronounced somebody guilty and have given a verdict such as hanged to death, it must have been done with a lot of research. It's not being done by popular public sentiment or opinion of X, Y or Z. And I think it's imperative also to realize that when there is a terror conviction, and if there are terrorists attached, people have been chanting all kinds of vicious theory to suggest that this is, you know, because of his religion. I think this is the most ludicrous argument and it needs to be condemned.
Let me put that question to Ujjwal Nikam,
to propagate sentiments such as this. It's a very, very sensitive issue.
It indeed is extremely sensitive. And Ujjwal Nikam, there are three aspects I want to raise here. Is Yakub Memon being hanged because of his religion, because he is Muslim? That's point one. Point two, were there mitigating factors that a lot of intelligence came to India courtesy his returning to India, apparently surrendering? Did he surrender or was he arrested? And the fact that India got evidence of Pakistan's involvement in 1993 blast, is that a mitigating factor, Mr. Ujjwal Nikam?
Gaurav, let me tell you very frankly, because I was in the said case for about 14 years. So I had a first-hand knowledge than any other panelist of yours. I must tell you that accused Yakub Memon has been sentenced for the death penalty not on account of his religion, race, and etc. The first factor. Secondly, the story which is now being in advance that he wanted to surrender, that itself is a false story, because today the CBI officer Mr. Chatwal has made a statement openly in New Delhi.
Yes.
Thirdly, what defense is banking. My friend Mr. Keswani is also banking upon the statement, the so-called statement of one Mr. ex-raw officer, Mr. Raman.
Yes.
Why that Raman statement has been coming after the period of 13, 14 years?
Exactly. No, but was this considered, Mr. Ujjwal Nikam, was this considered in court that he surrendered, you know, whether in Justice Kode's court, in the Tada court, or in Supreme Court subsequently, the fact that he allegedly surrendered, and two, that intelligence was helped by his information, did all these aspects come up in court, sir?
Gaurav, who said that he surrendered? Who had prevented Yakub Memon to lead the evidence? If at all Yakub wanted to say, Yakub could have said on oath, he could have examined himself that yes, I have surrendered. Then I would have cross-examined Yakub Memon if he would have given the evidence on oath. I fail to understand. And the moot question is whether surrender or not surrender. How does it mean that it's going to reduce the gravity of the offense? Suppose in case if tomorrow Dawood Ibrahim would say that yes, I am ready to surrender, please allow me, but don't give me any harsh punishment. I am ready to undergo 10 years, 15 years. Law will allow us. Law will allow us to do that. No. Then why you are making such type of statements? Unfortunately, my friend, senior friend, Mr. Keswani knows that what offense Yakub had committed,
yes,
and how this surrender theory is being advanced.
Respond to this, Mr. Keswani. Did the aspect of surrender come up during the trial in the Tada court and Supreme Court, Mr. Keswani?
Mr. Ujjwal, abhi yaar meri jawab to suno. Now that Mr. Ujjwal Nikam has mentioned Mr. Chatwal's name, before I entered the Tada court in Arthur Road jail, Mr. Chatwal called me to his office opposite Sachiwala. He said, Mr. Keswani, where is your bail application for the Memon family? I said, bail application, such a matter on the very first day.
गौरव, मैं केसवानी साहब से एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ.
केसवानी साहब, आपके लिए उज्जवल निकम साहब का एक प्रश्न है, पूछिए.
देने दो, फिर 10 सवाल पूछो.
अच्छा, ठीक है.
जवाब देने दो.
मुझे मालूम है कि
नहीं तो I will disconnect right now. Did I interrupt? Mr. Ujjwal Nikam, did I interrupt you? 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 Now keep quiet. Let me answer the question as I want to answer. Let me answer the question. You keep on interrupting. Don't interrupt. These are bad manners. Mr. Nikam, these are bad manners.
Carry on. Carry on.
Let me answer. जहाँ हम जवाब देते हैं वहाँ आप पा करके गन फायर करते हैं.
अच्छा, प्रश्न का उत्तर दीजिए. काइंडली रिस्पॉन्ड सर.
नहीं देना है ना आपको, तो अपने पैन इनको बोल दो कि मैं कट कर रहा हूं इंटरव्यू, मुझे इंटरव्यू नहीं देना है. बोल दो इनको. सवाल तो पूछने की अक्ल है, जवाब सुनने की अक्ल नहीं है.
Respond to the question, Mr. Keswani. Don't beat around the bush, sir.
Respond, but tell Mr. Ujjwal Nikam not to interrupt me while I'm answering the question.
Go on, Mr. Keswani.
I don't like this habit. Yeah. Mr. Chatwal called me to his office and he said, आपकी bail application तैयार नहीं है. मैंने कहा bail application ऐसे कैसे हम तैयार कर. अरे साहब, हमको इस आदमी ने, जिसका नाम है मिस्टर याकूब मेमन, उसने हमें इतनी मदद की है कि हमारी इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसी पिछले 40-45 साल से घास काट रही थी क्या. जो इसने हमको खबर दी, आप जल्दी से बेल एप्लीकेशन तैयार कीजिए और दे दीजिए, एंड देयर विल बी नो ऑपोजिशन.
Did you do that? Was that put on record?
On the scene.
Was that put on record? Mr. Keswani, did you put that on record?
Record तो you have to bring on record ना, as a prosecutor.
I want to respond.
Respond to that, Mr. Nikam.
तो सुनिए, नहीं तो गई गधे के गांठ में भाई बात. चलो.
Respond to that, Mr. Nikam.
Mr. Keswani, you will agree that I am a fair prosecutor. Had you ever disclosed this fact to me at any point of time? My first question. Respond.
Yes, so he never raised this issue during the trial. During 14 years of trial in the Tada court, this issue was never raised. So, Mr. Keswani, you are unable to take up questions. Mr. Keswani is unable to take up questions. He's standing up, he's trying to walk off the stage, walk off from there. Okay, Shaina NC, does this show that those who are batting for Yakub Memon today, they are weak on facts and they are only politicizing this issue? And is there then fear that if you keep Yakub Memon alive in jail, this could well lead to another IC-814-like incident?
Absolutely correct, Gaurav, and please, I think that Mr. Keswani getting up from your show and, showing his displeasure to some uncomfortable questions is not at all welcome. What are we doing here? We are discussing that if a fact has come out after 13, 14 years of a case, is that valid or not in the eyes of law? Is it not for the honorable courts to decide? And to constantly question the public prosecutor is not correct. The decision of the Honorable Supreme Court, this is not as if the case has just run for a few months and he has been convicted with life sentence and then to be hung to death.
Yes.
So I think all this popular so-called elitist club that is writing to the president must know the facts of the case, must know the severity of Yakub Memon's contribution to 1993 bomb blast, whether it was all these kind of ammunition, explosives that he procured, the money that was spent, being a conspirator, all that he did. So it's all very well to say, he's turned a new leaf and he's an informer.
He was a driving spirit behind the 1993 blast, says the Supreme Court in its verdict. Shaina NC,
terrorists,
yes,
that you can come to India and get away scot-free?
No, that message cannot go. India is not weak against terror. That's the message that clearly needs to go. Ujjwal Nikam and Shaina NC, for the moment, many thanks for joining me here on the broadcast. And once again, for the benefit of our viewers, the Supreme Court said that Yakub Memon was the driving spirit behind the 1993 Mumbai blast. He was in a commanding position and crime of utmost gravity warranted death sentence.